Okay.
List them is Zuyam.
Why is that?
The robbery should come through on Zoom.
Ah, okay, good. I hear. Maseches Bava Kama, excuse me, where am I holding? Maseches Bava Kama, Daf Nun Zayin Amud Beis, towards the bottom of the page. Yeah, so this Shiur Lilu Nishmas Avi Moivi Menachem Ben Akiva, Lilu Nishmas Ruth Bas Sholem Sora Bas Moshe, Lefros Yehudis Bas Rivka, Lefros Pnina Chai Bas Gula Rochel, Besoch Shochel Yisrael. So yesterday, Yaakov was asking for Aloha Lamaisa. Before we start the two dots, Omar Rab, Nafla Lagina. So we say that I checked up the Aloha regarding Rabbi of Yosef. Okay. Okay. I'm saying before we start the Shiur in Bava Kama, Nun Zayin Amud Beis in the bottom of the page, Nun Ches Amud Aleph, I'm just pointing out Halacha L'Maisa. We see that there still remains a machlokes between the Mechaber and the Ramo regarding what happens when you have a Shomer Aveda. The Mechaber is like Rav Yosef, your Shomer Sochor, with all that entails. The Ramo says your Shomer Chinam. He brings down the those who pass on Shomer Chinam. The Noise Kelim say there remains a question. So if it remains a question, what do you do? It's always the same case. It's like a teiku. And therefore, if the Shomer Sochor did not pay, if the Shomer Aveda behaves like Shomer Chinam, it doesn't pay for you think he has to pay, let's say Gneva Aveda, you can't claim it from him because of Motzim Chavel Avaraya. Prove to me Aloha is like Rav Yosef. But if the owner already took some money from him or holds money that he has, in other words, the one claiming money, the owner of the object says, you're Shomer Sochor, and he took money from him, or he has money of his anyways in his pocket, so Mimele, it stays by the Baal Abais. That's always the case. In other words, whoever holds the money is a Motzim Chavel Avaraya. That's usually the case, Laloch and Maisa, when we remain in doubt regarding monetary issues. If you have, if it's by you, it stays by you, whoever you are, whichever side you're on. Now let's continue to. We'll have more lochal mice hopefully today. Let's hope that Zoom will be on our side today, and not Chanukah miracle. We're quoting the Mishnah here, the two dots, the line v'nimtza listim nofla lagina v'nehenes v'shalemes mashenenes. That's about, I don't know, an animal. We said in the Mishnah, an animal fell into the what's his name, into someone's garden by mistake. It was beyond my control, says the shepherd. What can I do? So then we say it only has to pay mashenehenes. What does it mean, mashenehenes? It only has to pay what it benefited from that garden. Soon we'll see what it means. Whether it ate or it was cushioned, the fall was cushioned. We'll discuss that soon. Or the next case, Yodo Kidarko, the animal very nonchalantly just walked into the garden, and the person was just too shakua in his smartphone, and he just cannot look at the animal, and he's boshea. Then ve'ezika, mishalem ismashe zika. Then he doesn't pay just what it benefited from; it pays the full price. What does that mean? Let's give another introduction. We all know about shen v'regel. This is a classical case of this whole Mishnah. He's talking about livestock. It's talking about what? Shen. Animal that went out and ate from someone else's field. That's the Nizikin called shen. A shen ezach, nishke shen ezach. Now, if the animal went there, I'm starting from the end. It's me talking now, not the Mishnah. If the animal walked there and you are negligent, that's classical shen. Let's say the animal ate there. Let's say it's eating, not falling. The animal ate there some very fancy, I don't know, fijoya and star fruit, some very expensive grapes. It ate some very, very expensive thing, and it enjoyed itself. Says the owner of the field to the Baal Abais of the animal, he says, you got to pay me the fancy fijoya. You got to pay me, I don't know, 50 shekels a kilo. Why? Because that's mazik. You're full mazik. You're negligent. That's classical shen. You were not careful with the animal. Your animal ate. Oh, I'm sorry. Your animal. Thank you. Your animal ate my food. Pay me for the food. That's doraisa. However, the first case is oinus. Oinus means, obviously, as we know, it was beyond his control. The animal was walking down a path. We'll see exactly how it happened later on. And the animal fell in an unexpected way from the Rishus Rabbim, which was high up. Imagine yourself some kind of mountain, not mountaintop, like the slope of the mountain, walking there where there is no good fence, whatever, something happened. He pushed her, or there was a climb. The animal fell unexpectedly into the garden. Let's say nothing happened and it started eating right away, or it was cushioned by the fall, and the fijoya of, I don't know, 70 shekels a kilo were destroyed. Now we say no, you don't pay mashe zika, you pay mashenenes. Mashenenes means the amount of money that the owner actually would have spent to feed his animal supper. I don't have to pay you the fancy fijoya. It was oinus. I'm not really chayiv. The Baal Soda says, I know it's not your fault and you're not really chayiv, but at the end of the day, I fed your animal, or I saved your animal's life. Ah, you fed my animal? That's what you're coming from? I don't have to pay you fancy fijoya, starfruit, kiwi. All I have to pay you is the regular hay that I give her every supper. That's what I'll pay you. I'll pay you my shenanis with the animal benefited. That's the basic thing of the Mishnah. Again, the oines, we don't say it's regular shen, because the coming into the field, which we'll see later on, but the Rosh says, coming into the field was beoines. What happened later, we'll discuss. It came into the field, and let's say it was bumped and fell, and your fancy fijoyas, they are the ones who actually saved its life. I could have used the cheap mattress. I have to pay you something, but I don't have to pay for the whole thing because it's oines. You're saying because really, at the end of the day, you were marviach me something, fine. So for that, I don't need fancy fijoya to be the mattress under my animal to be saved, right? To take the impact. Therefore, I'll pay the minimum. The shen, if there was regular nezik, was b'pshia. The animal was gingerly or nonchalantly walking into the field while the guy was shakua in Facebook, very choshev things. So then what? You got to pay the whole thing. Then if it ate fijoya, you're mazik. You better pay me the fancy fijoya that it ate. That's what the Mishnah basically said. Okay? Says the Gemara, Noflo, quoting now the Mishnah, Baruch Hashem, Zoom is good. Noflo lagina venenes meshalemis mashenenes. If it fell into the garden and benefited from it, one way or the other, it has to pay only mashenenes. Mashenenes is not the top thing, not mashezika. Mashenenes means what I gained from the story. Yeah? Mashenenes. Amar Rav, says Rav, one word. Rav says one word, and that word is going to be, cut into pieces now. Benech beto, full stop. That's what Rav says. Boom, nech beto. Says Rav, the animal, you know what the Mishnah is talking about? When the animal fell and boom, fell onto the ground, and because your fancy fruit was there, okay, that actually took the bump, that cushioned the fall, that cushioned the impact, and therefore, what in this case is going to pay the minimum of mashanenis? Says the Gemara, okay, what's Rav coming to exclude? The only two ways we can think of, Zoom is a mazik. Zoom is a mazik. So now, the only two things we can think of is what? Either bumped or started eating. It fell by mistake. I had no idea, couldn't anticipate it. But then the animal, once it met, it's surrounded by lush vegetables and fruit. It started eating right away. It's an animal, not a human being. So says Rav, we're talking here when it fell. What are you coming to exclude, Rav? Frag the Gemara. That's all Rav said, one word. Zog the Gemara, aval ochlo. But what's the other? You coming to exclude, to tell me now the opposite? Let's say the animal ate right away after falling. Afilu mashenenes eina mishalemes. Maybe you want to tell me that if the animal ate, then the person, the owner of the animal, doesn't have to pay. Why not? I'll tell you why. Lema Rav letaime. Maybe Rav follows his own logic, his own reason, which we've seen before. What did Rav say? The Omar Rav, and I don't know if you remember it, but I'll remind you. Rav is a svoro that an animal, as much as an animal is an animal, sometimes people can claim the animal shouldn't have eaten. What does that mean? I don't know if you remember the case, so let's refresh our memory. We have a lot of chazor in Bava Kama. The case was as follows. I put my fruit in your marpet set when it's not raining. I put the fruit by you without permission, so I'm not a nice guy, I'm not a good guy. Your animal, or the house owner, your animal ate my fruit, and your animal got bad tummy, runny tummy. You say an American runny tummy, or you say something else? Yeah, runny tummy? You can understand what that means. Yeah, diarrhea. in French. So now the animal got sick because it ate my fruit. Listen, I'm not a nice guy, maybe, for putting my fruit over there, but your animal didn't have to eat the fruit, says Rav. You should have looked after your animal not to eat my fruit. It's true that it's not right that it's there, but for your animal to come and eat, says Rav, your animal, its kilu, is a new step on your direction from your side. Your animal ate it and you should have guarded it. But the animal was the one who took the initiative, took the step and ate the fruit. I didn't invite you to eat the fruit. It says chayiv over there. It says chayiv is only in the case where the animal slipped. If the animal slipped on the vegetables, there's no choice. The animal was complete accident. If the animal actually went into the area, sniffled and started eating, that's kill a whole new action on the animal side. And we say the Bala Paris is poto. And you can say, I'm sorry, your animal got sick from eating my fruit. Nobody invited your animal to eat my fruit. It's not automatic enough from my side as the fruit owner. I didn't feed it, bichlal. That's what Rav said over there. Maybe Rav uses the same logic over here for the mazik and say the mazik, can the mazik say the same thing? I'm so sorry my animal fell. It was a mistake, it was oines. And the fact that later on the animal ate, that's my animal's choice. What can I do with my animal? I can't do anything about it. It's the animal's own rights, own behavior. Says the Gemara, how can you compare it? You're taking one line and copying and pasting it to the wrong document. Rav said only over there. One can use the reason of the animal. I can say the animal shouldn't have eaten, or you shouldn't look after animal. When the animal became damaged, when the animal was harmed and ate my fruit out of ki'ilu its choice, or you, Mr. Owner, should have made sure it doesn't eat my fruit, then the matzi omerle mari de peri, the owner of the fruit that the animal ate and got diarrhea and died, I don't know, whatever, lo mishalamna, I don't have to pay. My damage was not direct enough. It's the animal who took the step, who actually ate it, and it's not directly my fault. Some argue with Rav. But she shouldn't have eaten. But lazuki hi achrini. But for my own animal to damage others and eat the fruit of others, and I, the owner, say, that's how my animal behaves. The animal psychologist told me that it's traumatized and that just have to eat. Mapiton, what kind of shtiot is that? The patira lishlumi mi omar, to exempt somebody from paying, who would you say? You can close the entire Bava Kama. If you believe that, if from the mazik point of view, you can say, well, that's just what my animal does. What can you do? People say, my dog. Yeah, let animals be animals. Exactly. I'm a modern mechanech of animals. Go along with the crooked parenting of animals. Just the animal can do whatever. What can you do? It's his choice. You can't say that. You can't say that as a mazik. What do you mean? He should jolly well pay what? The enechanami, the fall was a mistake. But later on, when the animal started eating, which is a whole new action, mapitam, how can you say that the animal is potter? We may say differently. It's not a svar to say it's the animal's choice. That's what the animal has an owner, is the owner should be responsible, says an entire masechta. So for sure, Rav didn't mean that. So what did Rav mean? Again, what was Rav's statement? One statement. All Rav said was, boom, benechbeta. Rav said that this story of the animal falling be'oines and then benefiting from the fijoyas underneath is what is bumped, as opposed to eating. But what does it mean as opposed to eating? Now we're going to give a new interpretation to the as opposed to eating. Ella, we're starting today's page. Nachman. Lo mi baika omar. When Rav said nechbeta, he doesn't mean nechbeta to exclude eating. He means even nechbeta, which means, explains the Gemara, everything will be good. Be'ezras Hashem. Lo mi bai ochlo. For sure, if the animal fell and nothing happened to the animal, it fell intact, aplomb, everything is good, started eating. For sure, ochlo de meshalemis mashenenes. Not even a question. If an animal fell into my field and now started freessing the vegetables over there, the fruit, it has to pay. Not everything, but it has to pay the amount of money which I would feed it supper. Okay, that's not even a question. That's why Rav doesn't mention it, because it goes without saying. Your animal ate, and okay, I feel bad for your oiness, but at the end of the day, I saved you supper. What did I tell you a few days ago? You should remember these words all your entire lives. Momani gaboch. My money is by you. I don't care how. In your animal's stomach right now is worth how much? Well, I'm not asking for the 100 shekel fijoyas. Right now, you saved supper. Right now, your animal's going to go home and go straight to bed without supper. The supper is, my supper is in your stomach, then of your animal's stomach. Bevakasha. So for sure you got to pay me that. Says Rav, Aval nechbeto. Maybe if the animal bumped into the ground, maybe then I don't have to pay anything at all. Sarvus, nothing at all. Ema, I could say maybe, Mavriach ari minichse chaveroihu. Maybe there's a locha which we saw in the Vasla, which we see again. Maybe the owner of the field does not deserve anything. You know why? Because he's mavriach ari. Mavriach here literally means what? To stave off, to chase off a lion from nichse chaveroi, which means, let's say a person sees a lion coming into someone's field in order to whatever, is not intending to do anything good, the lion or the wolf or the whoever. The person whatever manages to shoot him away. You just tell the lion, shh, 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 the lion goes away, whatever. Yeah, let's say he has to spend money on shooing away the lion. In that case, umashenenes nami loy meshalim. Mavriach ari, generally speaking, if the Mavriach ari says, excuse me, mister, I spent half an hour chasing after the lion, I lost work, yeah, and therefore pay me for the work, even without losing work, excuse me, even without losing the time, I did a job for you. When your lion came, forget about other expenses, which you may have to pay, by the way. The mere fact I now did a job for you and I staved off the lion and chased away the lion, pay me for that. That, generally speaking, and soon we'll see exceptions, you cannot claim money for that. Why not? Because you know why? Why is it halachically you're mechuyev, you're obligated to actually go ahead and chase away the lion? It's not just being the good citizen. It's halacha called hashavas aveda. Hashavas aveda is not only if you found a wallet with shekels and dollars in Park Iron Loan or wherever. No, hashavas aveda also means to save or salvage or save whatever, whichever stage, that your friend's money, property from damage. You're mechuyev. So that's a chiyuv halachic chiyuv. You're mechuyev to do it by halacha. There are many details here, but generally speaking, if I see my friend's property about to die, expire, be damaged, I have to, I'm not saying there's extra expenses, but the mere fact that I did the job of a Shavas Aveda, I can't ask money for that. Let's say a person did not lose money from taking, let's say I found a wallet in Park Ayalon, okay? We're not learning Hilchos Shavas Aveda, which are complicated, by the way. I found a wallet in Ayalon, Baruch Hashem, I consider to that Zehut, but it's work. I start taking it home, it's a headache on my mind, I have a 15,000 things to do in my life. Now we have this wallet. It happened to me now with the wallet. I had this sweatshirt, which I found years until I found the owner. Finally, I found it. Well, whatever, phone books and this and that. People live right here. I never found. It's a job. Can I ask the owner of the sweatshirt, the father of the girl who lost the sweatshirt, which I actually gave back to them, can I pay me? Now that I lost job, I did a job for you. No, I can't ask for the mere thing. I can't ask why. It's mitzvah. A mitzvah is supposed to do for free. Are you going to get paid for putting on tefillin? No, you have to do a Shavas Aveda. Therefore, let's go back to our animal who's now, 1 second please, who's now, question soon, was bumping into the ground and was cushioned nicely by the fijoya and destroyed the fijoya at the same time. Maybe I don't have to pay you nothing, zero, nada. Why nada? Because it's a mitzvah. That's a Shavas Aveda. When the animal ate, it's an extra supper. The animal here, if not for the animal bumping into the hard ground, he would have bumped into the hard ground and died, and your fijoyas helped you to be cushioned. That's mavriach ari. That's saving its life and saving the property. Maybe enachinami, I don't have to pay you anything because you inadvertently did a mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda, mavriach ari, and mitzvahs are not payable. Maybe kamash malan, no. Says Rav with one word, nechbeto. No, even nechbeto, even though that's life-saving, as opposed to eating, which is not life-saving. He wasn't about to starve, yeah? The bumping, even though you saved the animal life with your fancy fijoyas, you still, yes, we can't say mavriach ari, and he'll pay you the minimum like it ruined the mattress or ruined the cheap stocks, okay? I prefer no questions, but you okay? You're good? Okay. Frag the Gemara, ve'ma'achinami. Says the Gemara, how do you know? It's very nice asking me to say no. You tell me yes and you tell me no. Maybe it is mavriach ari. Maybe enachinami. Maybe the person who saved the animal's life, which means he saved his friend's property, it's called a Shavas Aveda, it's called mavriach ari, and it's a mefursha Gemara in Bava Basra. You don't have to pay. So why do you have to pay? Really, why? Why don't you say it's mavriach ari? And you did your civil duty as a Jew by saving inadvertently, without wanting to, you saved its life, and therefore I don't have to pay you. Maybe yes, maybe enochinami. Says the Gemara, no. And here we come with the big yesod, and soon we're going to see some Tosfos. Yeah, Tosfos lovers, here it comes. Answers the Gemara, nishtazoi. Mavriach Hari has its parameters. Mavriach Hari minichse chaveroi midai toihu. I kept on inadvertently and I meant it. When I choose to do a mitzvah, and I choose to be the good Jew, of course, you have to choose that, but it still has to be my choice. Mitzvahs have to be done out of choice. Yeah, you don't put a gun on the person and the gun point to tell him to do a Shavas Aveda. And therefore, if I choose to do Mavriach Hari midaitoi, then and I was volunteering to chase away the Ari, or let's say I saw the animal falling and I spent money on getting whatever in the circus there, the catcher, the net, right, to all the animals, cost me money, then enochinami, I don't have to be paid because I volunteered to do a mitzvah, and mitzvahs are not being paid. Hi, in this case, lav midaitoi, that's not midaitoi. There wasn't his choice. You can't force a mitzvah on me. Your animal, by mistake, 1 second, fell into the thing. I had no idea. It wasn't my choice. You're forcing a situation on me. It's not your fault. It's not my fault either, mister. Yeah, if a mitzvah happened to me all of a sudden, yeah, I'm zoiche, you can't say now you did the mitzvah on your own, from your own goodwill, your own initiative. Now I'm not gonna pay you. If it's your initiative, I'm not gonna pay. You initiated that. You did the mitzvah. Mashain can. If it didn't happen midaito, it happened by itself. I didn't choose to do that. Who says I would choose to dafka get your animal with fijoyas underneath? Mapitom. That's something which was forced on me in a way, and therefore I would ask you to pay. And that's halacha. You have to pay. 1 minute. Of course, the minimum, not the fijoya. You have to pay mashanenes. You have to pay like a mattress. You have to pay like a cheap food. Inami. Another answer regarding Mavriach Hari. Mavriach Hari minichse chavero leisle pseida. There's another alternative answer. Mavriach Hari that doesn't ask money. I told you before. He doesn't have extra expenses. I stood there valiantly and chased away the lion. And what? I didn't have any extra expense. Yeah. In the case where I don't have extra expense, I didn't have to call workers. I didn't have to get some, I don't know, fireworks. I didn't have to get the safari, whatever, the guy who knows how to deal with lions, lion catcher. There was no extra expense for the mere job of doing the Mavriach Hari, that itself, without any extra expense, I can't ask for money. Yeah, I got the sweatshirt of the girl. I gave it back to her father 2 years ago after a lot of searches. I can't ask. There was no expense on my side. I didn't. Okay, maybe the paper I wrote the Shavas Aveda sign. Yeah, then in that case, no extra expense just for the job of giving you back the sweatshirt or giving you back your cow. That you can't claim. But hi, Isla Pseida, here there is extra expense. Here, I'm sorry. Here, not that I saved your animal with my own arms, the sheep or something, and nothing else happened. I actually lost real money. There's extra money being lost for the job, and that is those fancy fruit. And therefore, you got to pay me at least part of that as much as you enjoyed from that. We're going to see this soon, but I'm actually open to a short round of questions. Yeah, I meant a ranger, by the way, the word that was missing before. I don't have to call the ranger to deal with the line. There's only one Tosfos. Don't worry, we're not going to see the entire humongous Tosfos, only a few lines at the beginning. Okay, I'm not going to the question, let's go to the V'yishloimer, the answer, because the answer is really what matters right now. 3 lines from the beginning of Tosfos. Explains Tosfos the Gemara. I chose to be Mavriach Hari. I want to be the good Samaritan. Is not so good. It's a different religion. The good Jew, good citizen. The Kevin to me daito. I feel he slipped seda. Even if he has monetary loss, I did lose money from returning the sweatshirt, let's say, or keeping the cow alive. As the case does brought down, like paying the money for my friend instead of my friend. Hi, Shalomi Daitoi. But this one, if it's done without his mind, without his choice, that's the word, you have to pay. Yeah, then Mimela, you have to pay. Inami, alternatively. Let's say that Mavriach Hari, like here, inadvertently, I came out that I unexpectedly did a mitzvah without wanting to. Let's say my friend forces me, yes, Yaakov, he forces me to come and chase away the lion. I'm scared in my pants, but he's asking me. There's no loss over there. He didn't lose any monetary thing, and he doesn't have a job at the same time. He didn't lose anything. So even though he's forced, he can't ask for money. You didn't lose anything. You're forced to do a mitzvah, but that's a new thing, Tosa says. But Lamaisa, there's no monetary loss. But hi, he's lepseda. But the one over here has a loss. So now you have to have either or in order not to ask for money. Says Toysves the Sikum, the Keva, in this case, you have two negatives, two strikes against Mabricha in our case. Tati, Shalomi Daitoi, this is bad news. Because it's inadvertent, it's unexpected, it's not my choice, and I have monetary loss, as opposed to eating matzah or putting on tefillin. I have monetary loss against my will. Mr. Adkan, don't be the good frumi. He did a mitzvah. I'm sorry, Adkan. You're forcing me to do a mitzvah, or your stupid car fell into my field unexpectedly. Plus, I lost money. Yes, at this happy note, leave the frumkite alone, and don't tell me now that I have to not pay anything. See, I'm on your side, the field, yeah? Mimela, I have to pay coming from left field. And therefore what? I have to pay, the Baal Haporo of the cow that fell has to pay at least the amount of money that it was merviach from being saved. That's what we're holding now. Weiter. Hechinofal, back to the Gemara. Hechinofal, how did the animal fall? Now that's not stam a cute question, what's the reality? We kept saying all the time, we keep saying all the time, the animal fell by mistake, unexpected, oinus, oh, I didn't know, not my fault. The Amoraim now, Rav Khan and Rav are asking exactly how do you define an oinus when an animal falls? How do you define oinus as it is? Yeah, it's not so simple here in Bav Metzia. How do you define oinus? When do you really say it was out of my control? And when don't you? What exactly happened to the animal that fell in there? Wasn't it looked after so well? What do you mean it was a mistake? How come it came to that situation, right? Zok the Gemara. Rav Kana Omar, shehuchleka b'mei meragleo. The animal actually slipped in its own, excuse my language, urine. The animal urinated. That's not so expected. That can happen in all kinds of situations. I once went to a live show of horses. Yeah, and what? One of them was happened more than once. In the middle of the show, fancy show, dressed fancy. In the middle of the show, starts Asher Yotzar. Yeah, very embarrassing. Okay, so Mimela, the animal unexpected does the meraglaim, slipped in its own meraglaim. Imagine yourself, it's on a slippery place as it is, on the top of the mountain. It fell into the garden underneath. That's Rav Kahana. Soon you'll see what the Chiddush is. Rava says a different case, and for a reason. Its friend pushed it. There were too many cows together in the same path. One cow pushed the other. Says Rava, I define that too as oines. Now, Rav Khan and Rava are not chas v'sholom, chalila, children in the class. You know, the teacher asks, no, why do you have oines? Different people voicing opinions. There's a message here behind Rav Khan and Rava, and the Gemara is going to say exactly what it is. Zok the Gemara. Mando Moshe dechafta chaverto. Rava, who do you think is more oines? You, and you. Which one is more out of control of the shepherd? The one pushing its friend, or the one, excuse me, and then slipping? Which one is more out of my control? No, says the Gemara, not like you. Why? Ew. A note to Rebbetzin Ben Ministi right now. I can show her the movie. Mando, the one who says that the friend pushed it is still called oines. All the more so, Rava would agree to Rav Kana. It's a one-way street machlokas here. Of course, if it urinated and that's for sure unexpected. Of course, that kol shekin called an oines, unexpected, out of my control. However, now listen carefully. Rav Kana has higher standards of what? Of oines. Only if it urinated, there's a puddle here, and that's oines. One friend, one car pushing the other in the narrow path. Pasha, it's a pshia, it's negligence, it's crime, it's within your control. It should pay full price, full price, like regular nezek, like hitting the Mercedes. The Omer Lei, because it tells him, the field owner tells the cow owner, you should have let them pass one after the other, just like Hashem does to us in Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, same thing. You should have controlled crowd control, right? That's a nice word. You should have managed the crowd control of your own cows, mister. And the fact one pushed the other, according to Rav Kana, is still within your control. Yeah, it's like a classroom. What can I do? He hits him. What do you mean? You're a Rebbe. Deal with it. Yeah. You're in charge of all 30 kids, including mine. So make sure the whole dynamics is correct. The same thing over here, according to Rav Kahana, one pushing the other is not honest enough. Not honest enough. It's still considered to be what? To be pshia. And by the way, that's alocha. Alocha is like Rav Kahana, not like Rava. Rava views one pushing the other as honest. I can control them every second what they do. Rava still sees that as honest. Rav Kahana says, no, that's not honest. That's called pshia. And then you'd have to pay completely for the whole thing. And that's halacha of Rav Kahana in this. Rav Kahana, another machloekes. Now let's continue into Rav Kahana, and remember there are two different cases in our sugya. Yes, halacha of Rav Kahana. Yeah, not. Rav Kahana so far only spoke once. He's going to speak soon again. Rav Kahana says what? That if the animal pushed the other, which is borderline between pshia and oines, Rav Kahana is machmir, and he says that's called pshia. You should have controlled the crowd. You should have made sure one doesn't push the other. Make sure the kids behave in classroom, and therefore it's still called pshia. Rava says no. Rav Kahana is more machmir. Okay, you want to ask something? It's actually an okay time to ask. Okay, weiter. Now comes another question. Before we continue. Now, there are two cases here in this whole sugya. Two cases of two types of damage. Either the animal fell and bumped, yeah, it fell off the road, and for whichever reason, either meraglaim or the chafta, it fell, and what took the impact, what cushioned the impact is the nice fancy joyas. That's one case. Or the animal fell straight into the field. Yeah, that would be an amazing commercial for cow's food. It falls unexpectedly into very, very yummy animal food. It finds itself surrounded with lush, amazing, colorful animal food because it's not a frum Jew, doesn't learn Musar. What does it do? It's out of its control to start eating right away. Yeah, if the animal finds itself surrounded by food, it's beyond its bechira. If it has any. And therefore, the other case is the animal fell be'oines, starts eating, and I'm still potter on full payment. I only have to pay mashenenes, not mashezika. I'm actually not mechadish much to you. I'm just portraying in better colors what's happening over here. But I said it on a reason, the commercial thing wasn't me being funny. I'm trying to explain that when an animal falls, at least at the beginning, it falls straight into a matzav of Yetzer Hara is all around it. You find yourself in a dreamland full of food all around you, and you're an animal. You start eating right away. It's a continuation of the oines. Are you with me? The fact that it fell, the Tav Yarok didn't expire. Now, there's the oines exemption still applies as long as the animal eats. The question is now, before we continue the Gemara, up to what point? Up to what point can the owner of the cow enjoy the benefit of the oines status that the animal has? Let me ask you a question. What happened if the cow fell unexpectedly, for sure unexpected, Rav Kahana level? There was a meraglaim, unexpected, push by truck. It fell, Baruch Hashem, nothing happened, yeah, and it starts eating right away. And for the animal, it's a natural continuation. What happens if the animal then finished one vegetable patch, and then nonchalantly walks into another garden and another one in the same field, another patch? Does it still maintain its ticket of oines, and therefore I only have to pay the minimum? Or do we say at some point, mister, you should have noticed your animal is missing, and at some point you should have jolly well take your animal out of there. And at some point, maybe that oines ticket expires, like a Tav Yorik, and it's in the Green Valley. Yeah? And now, at some point, we'll say it's not oines anymore. He's going to stay there for days and days. How many days can you stay in Disneyland with the same ticket? Long? No, I don't know. I've never been there. Yeah, 5 days. Yeah, okay. In Tel Aviv, only one day. Little amusement park. How long is your ticket of oinus? You get what I'm saying? You'll get it now. Amar of Khan. Loi shonu. We only say that oinus remains oinus and you pay the minimum. Ela beoisto aruga. Aruga is like a vegetable patch. The field has many like square arugas. That's the best word I can find in English. Vegetable patch. Look at the square. Yeah, one area. One area with the animal. As long as the animal ate there, it's still part of the oinus. The animal is a behemoth. Didn't learn Mesil Sisharm yesterday. The animal eats right away what surrounds it. Aval me'aruga la'aruga. Oh, when the animal left one aruga and went to the other one, he shaved off the whole place here. Now, after breakfast, he wants to have lunch. Once he got to another aruga, clearly demarcated as another aruga, hey, the fun is over. Your ticket's expired. Now they went to a new aruga. It has to pay full amount from now on. Why? Because we already disconnect the original oinus with the new action of coming into the new aruga. And now we say to the owner, Mister, at some point, you got to take your kid away from the amusement park. The ticket's not valid anymore of the oinus. Now it's called pshia. The new entry to the new aruga is a new pshia. Soon you'll see what I'm saying is very meduyak and it's based on the Rosh, and I'll explain to you soon. It's a new pshia. Now, from now on, you got to pay full. Now Tzvi is happy. Now, from now, the new aruga, it's already pshia. If you enter the field b'pshia, that's regular shen. That's regular Bava Kama a daf base. They got to pay the whole thing. That's Rav Kahana. After Rabbi Yochanan, we'll get a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful idea. I jumped with joy yesterday when I saw it afterwards. So Rabbi Yochanan Omar, but first we have to see Rabbi Yochanan arguing with Rav Kahana. Look at Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan being so nice to the animal guy. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, afilu me'aruga la'aruga va'afilu kol hayom kuloi. עד שתצא ותחזור לדס. וואי. Says Rabbi Yochanan, no. Animals' rights. If the animal walked from one aruga, where it originally fell and was surprised to land, animal food, it fell into this aruga full of food all around it, can't resist it, starts eating, it's a creation of oinus, it finished this aruga, walks to another aruga, and another aruga, and another aruga, all within the same field, an entire day. It has, excuse the pun, a field day. And then still says Rabbi Yochanan, you still pay oinus, you pay the minimal fee and not the biggest one. Oh. Okay. Says Rabbi Yochanan, aruga, until it goes out. Once it left the amusement park, it's the new fun place. Once it left the park, and then would go in b'pshia, then you'd have to pay a new thing because it's pshia. But as long as the original entry to the field was oinus, slipping or pushing or that, the entire day in the field day, the whole thing is still covered under oinus, even from one aruga to the other. So now I'm on Tzvi's side. Tzvi decided today to be the lawyer of the field owner. Oh, what? I looked at Rabbi Yochanan yesterday, didn't have what's going on. I saw the Rosh. The Rosh says a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful idea, unbelievable. Says the Rosh, a huge yesoid. They say Bava Kama is the Masechta in Shas, out of all other Masechtas, which is most intertwined. Everything is connected to one the other. We're now going to see a yesoid in Daf Nun Ches, a yesoid Godol, a very basic fundamental thing, which really belongs in Daf base. Says the Rosh as follows. Well, how do you know that I have to pay if my animal ate something in someone else's field? Where does it say it in the Bible? As usual, Shlomo is the one quick on the draw. The shilach esbio, you're right, just let's add a word. If you sent your animal, even if you didn't send it like, you sent it by his shakua very much in Facebook and telling people all the shtiyot, yeah? Meanwhile, the animal just does whatever he wants. The animal walks into someone else's field. That's pshia. Dog the rosh like this. The reason, the point in which you're chayiv is the shilach. The fact your animal entered the entry, that's the hot spot. That's when the camera flashes. When your animal came in, B'shilach, on that you're chayev. But if your animal's original entry was be'oines, sorry to be, it was be'oines and therefore out of your control, you get a ticket of a free day in the field. Not free, but cheaper in the field. Because the entry to the field was be'oines. Zok the Rosh, we're obviously talking about a person that could have taken the animal out. He could have taken it out at some point. He's not a nice guy for not taking it out. No shidduch for my daughter. But it's not called shen v'regel. Because the entry was, I would say, birshus, was be'oines, we can't claim anything about the animal coming in. Mimela, an entire day there, as long as you didn't leave and come back again, b'mezid, b'pshia, as long as you're still riding on the ticket of the original entry, the entry is what's koveh, the shilach. Oh, I'm dancing. That's what the Rashi is telling us to explain Rabbi Yochanan based on the pasuk in the Torah. It's Chumash, Rishonim, and Amiroim together. Yeah. Rav Kahana says, Rav Kahana is exactly the same, but very good. Rav Kahana and Rabbi Yochanan don't argue that much, really. I mean, the point is not that different. The point of view is not that different. Says Rav Kahana, that's I agree with you. But I view each aruga in the field as a separate field. I view every entry from one amusement park, whatever, from one ride to the other as a new thing. You know what I mean? That's the whatever. One thing and that's the other. Each aruga is a new entry. Each aruga is a new entry. Mimela, when the animal left with a full stomach, one aruga goes to another aruga, then you're over in the shilach if you're aware of it. But everyone agrees to the concept that the point of coming in is what's kaveh. That's what the Rashi is telling us because of a shilach. Here, by the way, Rav Kahana lost the case. Yaakov, yeah, here and everybody. Here we say no. Rabbi Yochanan, we're meiko in this case, and we say as long as the animal is there in the field, walking around here, there, and everywhere, still has one ticket. It's a day ticket, as long as it didn't leave. Once it left, you would have, obviously, and came b'pshi, it's chayv. Now, we're not, no questions now till the end of the page. It's a very short page and we're behind. Now, Omar Popo. Lo tema chetetz ledas v'tachzor ledas, which means, says Rav Papa is like explaining or tweaking something in Rabbi Yochanan. He says like this. Let's say the animal left ledas, meaning the owner of the cow at some point realized, oi, my cow fell. It fell into someone's field. It's eating a lot of fancy fijoyas and kiwis, bachule, shmita, whatever. And it left, and the person knows that it was there. The tachzo ledas means, let's say now the animal was normally guarded. How do you have to guard? Remember the very beginning of the parak? What level of shmira do we say is required for shen bariyil of a nice little shepsele? Super good or average good? Average good. Here it doesn't work. Ella, Kevin shots to ledas. Once you know the animal left and has a new amusement park that he discovered, even though it came back with the person not knowing, meaning Loledas here means the person guarding it in an average way, not good enough to guard it average. My time, why? The garden owner, or we tell the cow owner, Kevin the alpha, what's the alpha? It's learned. It discovered a new place. It's like the kid half off the derech, he found a new club, he found a new amusing place, interesting Yetzer horror place. Every time you let it off the hook a little bit, it's going to run away over there, which means a regular shepsele, which is at mimis dikawan, it's running in cheder all day long. A regular shepsele, it's enough to have average shmira. That shepsele, that or cow, oh, it found a new place. I had such great time in that place. Wow, all day long for half free, and it was so yummy. Yetzer hara. The animal, if you guard it so, and it knows its way to the place, and animals do, they know where the food is, the fun food is, you have to keep it now guarded extra carefully. Why extra carefully? Because it's already developed a bad habit. Hasam rohato, it's going to run over there, and that's aloha. Everything is lochel myself. Yeah, rohato, it's going to run over there, and I need extra shmira. Questions are welcome in, we have till 10:25 actually, because we started at 9:25. Questions? No. Good? You happy? Oh, good. Wow. If you're happy, I'm happy. The peanut gallery are happy. Oh, that's an nice. Why? Correct. Baruch, and I think you also. What are we asking here? At the end of the day, the guy an entire day left his animal being left in someone else's field. So although I did explain exactly why, because the entry was okay, it still doesn't sit right with you. I'll say again, I don't think I'm exaggerating on stage for the 20th time, and it's okay. I'm not saying it's an insult. It's good to always review it. The entire Bava Kama, you see this Masechta? It's against Torah. This entire Bava Kama, the whole idea of Bava Kama is one huge Chidush Torah, which goes against the nature, so to speak, of Torah, against the general rules. Why? Because Bava Kama is all one big Grome. Me'ikar Adin, we just saw a beautiful daf about Groma, right? Where is the daf Nunvav, right? Yeah, Nunvav, I have to remember. No. Yeah, the daf Nunvav was full of stories that are even worse than Bava Kama. As long as I'm not touching anything, as long as I'm not doing anything directly or semi-directly, I'm not chayiv. Get out of I'm saying, of that mindset. Okay, good. Now, having said that, every time the Torah is mechayiv, an animal owner and anything is a chiddush. The term which was mechadish, when I'm sipping my coffee, or hopefully not Facebook, or looking in the yourshare.com on my phone, yeah, he's doing something and the animal's walking around, again, not a nice guy. But if not for chiddush Torah and Parshas Mishpatim, he wouldn't be chayav at all. Get me? He's not really doing anything. Is being irresponsible. Being irresponsible is not something you have to pay for in halacha, except for the 3 out of 4 of us nezikin, where you do have to pay for. When the Torah is mechadish, the same Torah that was mechadish that they have to pay for an animal walking and eating, the same Torah is also limiting that same chidush. Yeah, like in Rabbanu would say, hey mamu, hey mamu. Ein l'bayla chidushoi. Chidushei Torah are limited to as much as the Torah feels like mechadish. We are running a little bit late, so one more. Yeah, you can respond. Yeah. I'll tell you even more to make you happier. The way the Rosh says it, or the Amshel Shlomo, I saw both. The Amshel Shlomo explains the Rosh. A person has a chiyuv to make sure the animal doesn't come in. A person does not have a chiyuv to make sure the animal gets out of the other field. Once my animal, that's chidush Torah v'shilach. Once the animal is in, that's the kilo, the matzav, that's the first frame in the movie. My animal is in. At the beginning was the oinus. I have no chiyuv to take my animal out of there. Of course, it's a good thing, and mistome, chazal, maybe metakan later on, I don't know. But the Eikar Din, I don't have to make sure my animal is out. I have to make sure my animal is not going in. That's exactly the door of the Rosh and the Amshel Shlomo. And we are continuing now. Rabbi say 2 more minutes. No way we are stopping now. Okay, very nice. So now what do we say? In the normal case, Yoda Kedalka. What's Kedalka? The animal walked in very nicely, no fall, no shmol. It went in illegally, and the person has to share his breakfast, very dachuf, has to share it with the breakfast he ate with everybody in Facebook, a very big mitzvah, and therefore he has to do it while the animal is walking in, and he's pasha. And what? Of course he has to pay everything. She ate 1,000 shekels fijoya, you pay 1,000 shekels fijoya. Your classical shen pasha. The animal came in and you didn't care about it, didn't do anything about it. All very nice. Comes a question now. Let's say the animal went in. He gave mazel tov. That's cute. In the middle of that field that it came in, it gave birth. And mei leida is the water. The water breaks, placenta, whatever that's called. Yeah, whatever, the embryonic sac. Yeah, the water where the baby is in by human beings, and it looks like mammals also. At some point, the water breaks. It's a locha for nida, makes a difference, but animals no nida. Yeah, I'm saying, but it's the water that broke. The kid, so the animal gave birth over there, and that caused one horrible mess in the middle of the Fijoya field. The Fijoya owner is not happy. However, Meileda is oinus. I didn't know the animal was going to give birth right there and then. That's kilu. He started by being poshea. It was not right. And nobody says it was. He started by, well, the animal is, yeah, that's bad. But then the type of nezik that happened was way out of line. Gave birth there. Oh, that's oinus. How do we call such a formula, which we've seen many times? I'm surrounded by choshuv v'talmid chachamim. I'm so happy. Ma'u, what's the story? Which is halacha. If you say when you started by being negligent, but the end result came from left field, unexpected honest, you're chayav because you started off bad. And according to that mandom in Bov Metzia Daf Mem Beis, it says you chayav loti bailach, no question. Of course, you started the pshia. That's it. You got a bad mark over here, Mister. I don't care if she gave birth or gave shmirth. You got to pay. Kiti bailach. However, the question does exist in what? There is an opinion in Bava Kama that says if I started off the pshia, but the end result was out of control, even if I wouldn't have done, whether I would or wouldn't have done the right thing, the pshia, the oines, the nezek came as unexpected oines, and potu. That's not the halacha. By the way, Yaakov and everybody else, halacha tchilos b'shifs of bonus chayev. Okay, but the question is, this is a classical case of tchilos b'shifs of oines. Maybe potu according to that mandoma. No, there's still a question. Mi amrinan, we still have a question within that. That's classical, according to this opinion. I started off Facebooking an animal walking that's really bad, and then the animal, unexpected, gave birth there. Okay. That's not a normal thing. It's not falling and not eating. It's like a third thing. Potu, so I'm potu. Oidilmar, maybe not. Here, it's pshia. There is a tzad to say this is pshia through and through, from A to Z. Why? As far as I know, I don't know, when Mashiach will come in Ritz Hashem, that I do know for sure, people, I don't know, animals, will conceive and give birth the same day. Probably have much larger families. And Shabbos, Basra. So far, people and mammals have to be pregnant. So, Mr. Cow owner, you didn't know your animal's about to give birth soon? Like, what did you think? You didn't learn about the birds and whatever? Yeah. The Kevan, the Kachazi, the Kival Olamelad, he saw that it's due any day, right? He should have guarded it extra carefully. Istamuri begavot, a new word which we never saw. Istamuri is extra careful. Lehishamer v'lehizarba, says Rashi. An animal about to give birth, like, what did you think? It's not going to give birth. It's all Yoshka. What do you think? Of course, it's going to give birth, yeah? And therefore, what? Maybe that's not even called pshia v'oines. It's called pshia and pshia. But that's a question. In other words, the fact that the animal is going to give birth, do we or don't we say the negligence there is super bad and it's all pshia, pshia, pshia? Or do we say, no, I didn't know it's going to give birth after there. The animal usually gives birth in its own environment. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's still called oines. Teku, we don't know the answer. I can tell already, Yaakov, Teku is usually the same answer. Is the money, depends where the money is, the money will be held. Thank you very much. Question time. I'm okay with question now. I have a freiliche, beautiful Chanukah. Oh, Baruch Hashem, the Zoom was working. I hope to send you yesterday's shiur and today's shiur. Wish me hatzlacha in everything you have to do today. Thank you very much.